Hi everyone, welcome to the part 2 of webinar series on research for economic development of the countries. We at Rising Scholars are very happy to have you on board with us. Thank you so much for joining in, and although it is Friday, I know we are going to have the most of this because last time we had the part one, and all of us, all the participants, and I personally enjoyed the session very, very much and learned a lot because we have James Main, finance and economic research analyst, as the facilitator of today's program. So there are a few ground rules that I'd like to share with you before we move ahead. Let me, yes, there are a few housekeeping rules. We are recording the session. Your participation will indicate consent for the recording. I really hope that you got a message popped up, something must have popped up on your screen when we started recording. We believe that you are giving us consent to record the session. It will be used for our internal purpose and also will be uploaded on our YouTube for others to learn from. So the closed captions are also bilingual. Click on the CC button below. If you don't see CC button right there, there is a button when you click the more function in the toolbox. If you have any technical issues, please let us know via the chat or email me at asta.subedi@inaps.info. To reduce the background noise, we like to request everybody to mute themselves. We'll also be muting everybody except the speaker. And please raise your hand in the participant panel if you would like to ask us any question during the question and answer session. James is here with us, and we'll also have a dedicated question and answer session towards the end. You can submit those anytime in the chat box, and we really hope you make the most out of this because our session are mostly for the purpose of being very interactive and getting to know each other, networking, collaboration apart from learning. So please make the most out of this. Now, I would like to introduce our facilitator, James, for today's session. So James is finance and economic research professional specializing in budget analysis, financial modeling, and data analytics. As an assistant budget analyst at local government service in Ghana. He leverages research to support economic planning and policy formulation. He holds a BSc in accounting and finance from the University for Development Studies and is currently pursuing an MSc in financial engineering with World Quant University. James is passionate about using data driven insights to drive economic growth and sustainable development. In today's session, we will be covering about the impact of research on the economic developments of the countries with some case studies of various countries, challenges, future trend, and roles of different institutions. We also covered some last in the last webinar, but we are excited to explore more on this one. Over to you, James. I wish everybody a very fun learning Friday with us. We can't hear you, James. Is it just me or yeah. Um, Not even now. No, we can't hear you. Is it the same case for everybody? Can you hear James?
No, we can't.
Yet.
Sorry, James, we can't hear you.
I can hear you.
We can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that was the earplug. Sorry about that. Now we can hear you.
You can hear?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so thank you so much for the opportunity to present on this noble topic. I think last on the 18th, we had some discussions on our first topic for discussion, and then it was very fruitful and impactful. So our first topic was on the research for the economic development of countries. And we actually deliberated on a whole lot. We learned about what research is all about, types of research, what is economic development, the impact of research on economic development, and then the rules of research and development, the rules of universities in empowering economic development of countries. And today, God's will be good, we are coming to talk about research on a topic, research can fuel countries' economy. So, but how can we as early career researchers ensure we truly contribute to economic development of a country through our research works? So that is our discussion for today. So without much ado, I will begin today's session. I hope you can all see my screen.
Yes, we can.
All right. So our topic for today is oh wow. Okay. I'm sharing my screen, but hello. Wow, I'm sharing my screen, but it looks like
Hi, James. Yeah, we are seeing the screen.
please can you stop sharing your screen so that I think it's giving me challenge here. Your screen is still shared.
I don't think my screen is here. Are you sure?
Yeah, your screen is sharing. So I don't know. I'm screen sharing, but I don't see it.
I stopped sharing a while ago. Maybe we should ask somebody. So, are you seeing two screens? Anyone? I'm not sharing.
No screen now.
I think we are seeing James' screen, right?
Yeah, one screen.
You are seeing my screen
You
now.
can share your screen, see your screen.
All right. So today our topic for discussion is research can fuel a country's economy. But how can we as early career researchers ensure we truly contribute? So that is our discussion for today. As I said earlier, I am James Mane, Finance and Economic Research Analyst. And I'm very privileged to be part of this session today. And we dive into the session. So our first model for today is the economic impact of research. So research as a driver of innovation. Through systematic investigation, researchers uncover new knowledge that leads to groundbreaking technologies, products, and services. Yes, so what it means is that research actually drives innovation. And through research, researchers are able to exploit new technologies, products, and then services that will help to enhance the economic development of the country. And then research also helps in enhancing industrial productivity and growth. By applying scientific findings to production, industry can enhance efficiency, optimize resource use, and create high quality products. This improves competitiveness both locally and globally. So through research, researchers are able to advance into findings to know an aspect of industry that is actually booming and how they can actually contribute and how that sector can actually help to develop a country. And then another is research also helps in informing public policy and economic planning. Government policies that are guided by research tend to be more effective and sustainable. So that is the impact of research. And then the last aspect is it also helps in supporting entrepreneurship and startup research. Many startups originate from academic research, where ideas are commercialized and developed into viable product or services. So that is the impact of research. So we are moving forward, understanding the research landscape. Let's look at the types of research and their rules. As a researcher, we need to know the types of research and the role each of the types play. So we have basic or fundamental research. This actually aims at expanding knowledge and understanding. Therefore, this type of research lays the groundwork for future innovation. Let's take, for example, studying the human genome or the physics of materials. So what it basically means is that fundamental research helps to expand knowledge, which is not purposely for immediate commercial application. So that is fundamental or basic research. And then we have applied research. This research type of research focuses on solving specific or practical problems. It often leads directly to new technology, services, or products. Let's take, for example, developing drought-resistant crops or low-cost diagnostic tools. So this is an applied research. So when you are conducting research that is specific to solving a particular problem, then you are actually undertaking an applied research. And then we'll have experimental development research. The process of turning research findings into market-ready solutions often involves piloting or commercial. So this kind of research is actually an experimental development research. So let's look at the role of early career researchers. As an early career researcher, what is your role in contributing to economic development of a country? So one, fresh perspectives and innovative thinking. Early career researchers actually bring fresh ideas and novel approaches to long-standing problems, helping to free from deeply entrenched academic traditions. They are mostly likely to challenge conventional thinking, experiment with new methodologies, and take creative risks in their work. So early career researchers actually come with fresh perspectives and innovative thinking to actually help to free from deeply entrenched academic traditions. They are mostly likely to challenge conventional thinking. So that is one of the role of early career researchers. And then two is technological fluency and digital skills. Early career researchers are often digital natives who are comfortable using advanced tools for data collection, analysis, visualization, and communication. Their tech savviness enables them to work faster, collaborate globally, and also engage with cutting-edge developments and research technology. So they actually help in technological fluency and digital skill development. That is another role for early career researchers. Let's take, for example, early career researchers are leading in areas such as machine learning, bioinformatics, and remote sensing, contributing to faster data-driven decision-making in business and government. So these are the roles we need to play as early career researchers. So the third role is bridging the gap between research and society. So our role as early career researchers is to help bridge the gap between research and society. Modern research demands societal relevance, and therefore early career researchers are increasingly engaging in community-based research, science communication, and policy dialogue, ensuring that their findings are accessible, actionable, and aligned with public needs. So as early career researchers, our goal is to help bridge the gap between research and society. And then 4 is to build interdisciplinary and global networks. Early career researchers are more open to interdisciplinary collaboration and international research partnerships. They often work across academic disciplines, cultures, and countries, an approach critical for addressing complex global challenges such as climate change, health inequities, inequities, and food security. Let's take, for example, a group of early career researchers in environmental science partnered with economics and local policymakers to develop a sustainable urban water management plan in Southeast Asia. So as an early career researcher, you should be researching into issues that will help build interdisciplinary and global network to actually help in advancing economic development in your country. And then 6, another role of early career researcher is contributing to national development goals. So it's to help contribute to national development goals. Therefore, by aligning development, digital transformation, healthcare, and youth employment, early career researchers can make significant contributions to public policy, institutional reforms, and economic empowerment. Let's say, for example, in countries like Rwanda and Malaysia, early career researchers have been involved in research tied to national development plans, contributing to economic strategies in tourism, ICT, and health systems, strengthening the growth in their economy. Then the last aspect, the role is future leaders of research and policy. Early career researchers, they are future leaders of research and policy. So they represent the next generation of thought leaders, academic mentors, and policy influencers. Their training, experiences, and values today will shape the research landscape of tomorrow. So we should be yearning as early career researchers to be what? Future. We should know that we are future leaders of the research and policy landscape. So let's move forward. We are moving to how to align research with economic needs as early career researchers. Aligning research with economic needs as early career researchers. 1, you should understand national development agendas. Understanding national development agendas. By studying and responding to national development plans and strategies, we should, as early career researchers, understand our national development agenda, our national development framework, and then align our research to the national framework to actually help to enhance the national development or economic development of our countries. We should also be targeting key economic sectors. As early career researchers, when conducting our research, we should be targeting key economic sectors. This is by seeing that identify and contributing to priority sectors such as agriculture, energy, health, tourism, education, and manufacturing, which actually helps ensure that research is both relevant and impactful. Then, third point is engaging with industry and the private sector. As an early career researcher, we should be yearning to engage with industry and the private sector when conducting our research. This is by collaborating with industries. Allow researchers to understand practical challenges faced by businesses and co-create solutions that enhance productivity, innovation, and competitiveness. Then 4, promoting research commercialization and entrepreneurship. So we should be yearning or aligning our research to promoting research commercialization and entrepreneurship. This is by translating research outputs into marketable products, services, or technologies, which helps to create pathways for innovation-driven enterprises and startups. So we should ensure that we align our research to actually help in promoting research commercialization and entrepreneurship. And then 5, supporting evidence-based policy making. We should focus our research on evidence-based policy making. This is by seeing that researchers contribute significantly to shaping economic reforms and public investment decisions by producing data and analysis for evidence-based policy making. So we should ensure that the research we are conducting should be evidence-based. That will enhance policy framework and help in developing policy framework for our country development or economic development of our countries. This will actually ensure that the research we are conducting as early career researchers will be impactful and given a policy framework or government a sense of understanding that we are contributing to the development of the country. Funding opportunities for early career researchers. We want to look at some of the funding opportunities for early career researchers. Funding opportunities for early career researchers. I have come to notice that most of the early career researchers often have some financial constraints or some constraints in conducting or carrying out their research, which actually, if we look at developing countries like Ghana, Nigeria, Rwanda, Kenya, Cote d'Ivoire, and other developing countries, African countries, researchers, early career researchers often lack they mostly face a lot of challenges regarding research work. Some of them have the idea of a kind of research to conduct, but they lack the funding or they lack the resources to actually empower them to carry out such research work. And you know that most developed countries, their development is mostly centered on research and development. It's mostly centered on research. And their government is mostly ready and willing to impact and actually fund the research work those countries researchers actually come out with the research topics to conduct. And that is a challenge we as developing countries are facing. So we want to explore some of the funding opportunities that as early career researcher can actually be able to secure to actually enable a smooth flow of your research work to actually help in the economic development of your country. So one, we have government grants and scholarships. Example is National Science Foundations and Research Council. So we can exploit as research, early career researchers, we can exploit government grants and scholarships. We can exploit government grants such as National Science Foundation and Research Council grants that will actually empower our research work to actually bring out or bring forth our innovations into light. So that is one way to secure research funding. That is through government grants and scholarships. Then two is university-specific funding. Example is postdoctoral fellowships and research assistantships. We can also explore university-specific funding such as postdoctoral fellowships and research assistantships. So we can exploit this on various university platforms, various institutional platforms to actually secure funding to enhance our research work in order to empower our economic development of the country. And then three is international funding programs. We can also exploit international funding programs. Example is Horizon Europe, Global Challenges Research Fund, that is GCRF, ATC, and etc. So these are some of the platform we can also use to actually secure funding for our research work. And then two is private sector and industry funding. Example is corporate research grants and research collaborations. We can exploit various corporate bodies that can actually sponsor our research work and then also collaborate with our co-researchers, or we can collaborate with industry leaders or stakeholders that will want us to actually deep dive into a specific research topic to actually bring out an innovative ideas, either be it into technology, agriculture, health, or education. We can actually collaborate with industry leaders to actually help them fund our research work to help in economic development of our countries. And then we also have non-governmental organizations and foundations. Example is Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We can also explore from non-governmental organizations and foundations that are willing to sponsor and fund research work. So we can exploit NGOs and foundations that are into research, and then we write proposals to them. They will be able to fund our research, and then it will help us to empower ourselves to help in carrying out innovative research to empower our economic development. Then we can also source from crowdfunding and public donation platforms. Example is Kickstarter, GoFundMe, or experiment.com. So as early career researcher, we can also seek for funding from various crowdfunding platforms such as Kickstarter or GoFundMe. You can exploit these platforms, tender in your proposals, your research funding, your research proposals onto these platforms. And if you are really, your research is actually impactful, I'm very sure that you will be able to get funding to actually carry out your research work as an early career researcher, which will in turn help to what? Empower the economic development of your country. All right, so let's move ahead. Effective communication or research findings. Hello, are we together?
Yes, Sims, we are.
Oh, okay. Please,
Okay.
are there some questions so far before we continue?
No, there are not any question.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So let's continue. We want to look at the effective communication or research findings. How do you communicate your research findings? We want to look at some of the effective ways to communicate your research findings to stakeholders and government. One, by tailoring the message for different audiences. One is by tailoring the message for different agencies or audiences. Research findings must be communicated to stakeholders. One is academic audience. Who are the audience to tailor your research work to? So the first way of effective communicating of your research findings is by tailoring your research findings for different audience, which is looking at one, academic audience. When communicating with fellow researchers, early career researchers should present their findings in detail, using technical language, data, and references that align with academic standards. So when you are communicating your research findings and you are looking at academic audience, then you can ensure that you present your findings in details by using technical language, data, and references that align with academic standards. That is when you are communicating your research findings to academic audience. So you should know each audience and how you communicate your research findings to them to make it relevant to the audience. So that is to the academic audience. You ensure that you communicate your research findings in technical language with data and references that align with academic standards. Then two, industry and business audience. How do you communicate your research findings to industry and business audience? For industry professionals, as early career researchers, we should focus on the practical applications of their research. You should focus on the practical application of your research. That is by emphasizing how it can solve specific industry problems or contribute to innovation. Presentations, reports, and meetings with stakeholders can be effective tools. So when you are communicating your research findings to industry and business audience, you should ensure that your research findings should be tailored to industry-specific problems and that it contributes to innovation. And you can use presentations, you can use reports, you can organize meetings with the stakeholders that will help to communicate effectively to the industry and business audience. Then three, policymakers and government officials. How do you communicate your research findings effectively to policymakers and government officials? When addressing policymakers, as early career researchers, we should present concise evidence-based recommendations that are directly linked to policy issues. We should clearly summarize. We should present policy briefs and impact assessments that are key communication tools in this context. This is by saying that when addressing policymakers, we as early career researchers should present concise, evidence-based recommendations that are directly linked to policy issues. We should clearly summarize. So clearly summarize and then present policy briefs and impact assessment. They are actually key communication tools in this context. So when you are communicating to policymakers and government officials, it should not be the same as how you communicate your research findings to industry and business audience. So you should know your audience and how to communicate your research findings to actually ensure that your findings are making meaning or are impactful to the audience you are presenting your findings to. This is how you can make your research communication effective. Then 4 is general public and the media. How do we communicate our research findings to the general public and the media? For the general public, early career researchers should simplify complex ideas and use engaging formats such as infographics, blogs, podcasts, and social media. The goal is to make research accessible and demonstrate its relevance to daily life. So when you are communicating your research findings to the general public and the media, you need to ensure to simplify complex ideas in your findings and also use engaging formats such as infographics, images, blogs, podcasts, and social media communication to communicate your findings, your research findings to the media and then the public to ensure it is more effective. So this therefore means that when you can have a very solid research finding, but if you don't know the kind of the way to communicate to the kind of audience, then your research findings might not be as relevant as you have conducted the research. So you should know your audience and how you present your research findings to them to make your research relevant. Then 2, we are continuing with effective communication or research findings. We are continuing with that. Then 2 is using multiple channels for dissemination. Effective communication requires utilizing a variety of channels to ensure that research reaches a broad audience. Now you know your audience. You know your audience to be policymakers, industry leaders, academic audience, and then the media. Now, how do you now channel your communication? How do you now channel your research findings? So we want to look at how to use multiple channels for dissemination of your research findings to the specific audience. One is academic journals and conferences. You have conducted your research, you had your findings. So now, how do you communicate these findings to the specific audience? One is academic journal. You can use academic journals and conferences. Publishing in peer-reviewed journals and presenting at academic conferences remain essential for disseminating findings within the academic community. So when you are presenting your research findings to the academic community, you can use academic journals and conferences. This way, your research findings will get to the right audience. And then 2, you can also use social media and blogs. That is when you are presenting your research findings to the public and the media. Platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn, and ResearchGate allow researchers to share their work with a global audience. Blogs and online articles are also great ways to explain complex topics in layman's terms and spark discussions within the research community and beyond. So you now know that when you are presenting your research findings to the public and the media, you know that you should use platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn, and ResearchGate, which allows us to share our work with a global audience. Then 3, we can also use press releases and media engagement. That is when you are communicating your research findings to the media. You can use press releases and media engagement. Engaging with the media through press releases or interviews can help increase the visibility of significant research findings. So when you actually engage the media through press releases or interviews, it makes your research finding widely and visibly known to the public. And it will what? Your research findings will begin to make impact. You will be recognized. Your research findings will be recognized. It will be known. And therefore, these are some of the ways to even get funding for what? To ensure that your research findings will be what? You can execute it into developmental projects to actually help in the economic development of your country. Then 3, engaging in public speaking and outreach. Another way to communicate effectively your research findings to the public is engaging in public speaking and outreach. Public speaking is a powerful way for early career researchers to present their findings and engage with a variety of audience, including students, professionals, and community members. Participating in public lectures, outreach programs, and community events helps to allow researchers to explain their findings in a more approachable and engaging manner. So we can also use public speaking and outreaches to share or to communicate our research findings. In this way, we'll be able to make impact with our research to the entire community, to the entire population, to the entire nation, and to the government as well. Then we also have through engaging in public speaking and outreach, we can use conferences and symposiums. By presenting research at academic conferences helps early career researchers build a network with other researchers and foster discussions that can lead to collaboration or further funding opportunities. So when you attend conferences and symposiums, you present your research findings, you are increasing your visibility of securing funding for your research work or research finding. So you can use conferences and symposiums to communicate your research findings. And then 2 is outreach activities. As early career researchers can also get involved in outreach activities such as school visits, science fairs, or public forums to inspire younger generations and engage the local community in research. So these are some of the ways to communicate your research findings effectively. Then we are coming to a very crucial aspect of our discussion, which is the ethics in research and economic contribution. Ethics in research and economic contribution. As a researcher or early career researcher, you conduct your research to impact, to ensure economic development of your country. But you need to follow some ethics. You need to ensure that you include some ethics in your research findings. You don't just do research anyhow. You ensure to follow some ethics in research and how it can contribute positively to economic development of your country. So we are coming to look at the ethics in research and economic contribution. 1, the role of ethics in research integrity. What are the rules of ethics? What are the role of ethics in research integrity? Research ethics encompasses a range of principles aimed at ensuring that research is conducted honestly, responsibly, and in a way that respects the rights and dignity of participants. So we should ensure that research actually respect the rights and dignity of participants. So how do we ensure that? How do we ensure we follow this ethics? By being honesty and transparency. Early career researchers must conduct their research with honesty, ensuring that data is not falsified, manipulated, or misrepresented. This is telling us that when you are conducting your research, you have to ensure that you follow the ethics, ensuring that your research data is not falsified, it's not manipulated, it's not misrepresented. Transparent reporting of methods, findings, and potential conflict of interest foster trust in research output, which is essential for their economic and societal adoption. So to ensure our research findings are societally and economically adopted, we should ensure that our data, our research data is not falsified, it is not manipulated in any way or the other, and then it is not misrepresenting. In this way, we can present qualified and proper data that are findings that will ensure economic development of our country. And then we should ensure our research data, our research is ensuring accountability. So the second one is accountability. Researchers are accountable for their work, particularly when it has the potential to affect public health, the environment, or economic policies. Ethical guidelines ensure that researchers take responsibility for the accuracy and implications of their findings. So when you are carrying out any research, you need to know it at the back of your head that you should be accountable for that research. You should be accountable for that research. When a research is affecting public health, the environment, or economic policies, you need to follow ethical guidelines to ensure that your research does not negatively affect, or your research does not bring out any negative impact on the economy. So you should know at the back of your mind that you should be accountable for your research positively. Then 2, we are still continuing with the ethics in research and economic contribution. 2 is protecting research participants and communities. Protecting research participants and communities. One of the most critical aspects of research ethics is the protection of research participants, particularly when it comes to human subjects. 1, informed consent. Researchers must obtain informed consent from participants, explaining the purpose of the study, any potential risks, and their rights. This helps to ensure that participants are fully aware of what their involvement entails. So when you are involving participants in your research, you need to ensure their consent. You need to let them have, you need to ensure informed consent. You need to seek their consent when carrying out or involving participants in your research work. This is an ethics in research, and you should not compromise it. Then 2 is confidentiality and privacy. Protecting the privacy or confidentiality of participant data is a fundamental ethical requirement. Ethical research upholds the rights of individuals to have their personal information safeguarded and used only for the intended research purposes. So when you are collecting data or you are collecting surveys from participants, you need to ensure that you entreat that information or data or whatever information you've collected from them confidential and ensure privacy of the participants. This is a way to ensure you follow the ethical rules of research when conducting your research. Then we are still continuing with the ethics in research. Then 3 is minimizing harm and maximizing benefit. Ensure your research minimizes harm and it's what maximizes benefit. Research should aim to maximize positive outcomes for society while minimizing any potential harm. Ensure that your research is maximizing positive outcomes for society and minimizing any potential harm. 1 is risk assessment. You need to ensure to assess the risk of your research. Before conducting any research, early career researchers must assess potential risks to participants. You need to assess the risk of your research to the participants, the environment, and society. Ethical considerations include minimizing any harm that could arise from the research, whether physical, psychological, or societal. So you need to ensure that before carrying out your research, you need to assess the risk of the research to the participants to ensure to minimize this risk, whether physically, psychologically, or societal to the participants. That is, you need to conduct risk assessment of your research before you proceed with your research work. Then we'll have maximizing public benefit. Ensure that your research maximizes public benefit. Research should aim to create value for society, whether in terms of improved public health, economic development, or technological advancement. This requires researchers to ensure that their findings are applied in ways that contribute positively to society's well-being. You should ensure that your research findings will contribute positively to societal well-being, so that it will help to maximize the impact in society and health and economic development of your country. So we need to take that into consideration when conducting any research. And then we are still continuing with the ethics. 4, ethical considerations in research funding. Ethical considerations in research funding. Funding is often necessary for carrying out impactful research, but it is important that the funding sources do not direction or outcomes of the research. You need to ensure that your research findings or the funding you are securing does not influence your research findings or your research outcomes. 1, conflict of interest. We should consider conflict of interest. Researchers must disclose any potential conflict of interest, such as financial ties to companies or institutions that might stand to gain from the research outcomes. This transparency is essential for maintaining public trust and the objectivity of the research processes. So even though when we as researchers, we are actually always looking for funding to carry out our research work, but we should ensure that this research work does not conflict with the research the funding we are securing does not conflict with our research findings or our research outcomes. And then the 2 is independent research. Independent research. Early career researchers should seek funding that allows them to maintain independence in their research. Research outcomes should not be swayed with external pressures, such as commercial interests, which could undermine the integrity of the findings. So we should ensure that when we are securing research funding, the funding we are securing should not conflict with the commercial interest, with our research outcomes in any way or the other, so that we can have a very impactful research that will help in the economic development of our country. Measuring research impact on the economy. How do we measure the impact of your research on the economy? How do we measure the research impact on the economy? Defining economic impact in research. Economic impact refers to the direct and indirect effects that research outcomes have on the economy, including contributions to business development, job creation, industrial innovation, and societal welfare. So before you carry out your research, or after carrying out your research, you need to know how to measure how that your research is impactful on the economy of your country. So we need to know, we need to be, as a researcher, know how to measure your research, the impact of your research on the economic development of your country. 1, direct impact. How do we measure direct impact of your research findings on the economic development of your country? The immediate economic benefit generated by research, such as the commercialization of a product or technology, the creation of new companies, or the generation of revenue from patents or licenses. So you can measure your research impact through the direct impact. Let's say your research is making impact in commercialization of a product. You have conducted a research which has come out with a commercialization of a new product in the Ghanaian market. Let's say, for instance, I have come out with a research which has introduced a new product into a Ghanaian market, or a new technology into a Ghanaian market, or my research has created new companies, or it has generated new revenue from patent or licenses. It means my research findings is making direct impact on the economy. That is how I'll be able to assess the impact of my research. Then let's look at the indirect impact. The broader economic benefits, such as the creation of new industries, improvement in public policy, societal well-being, and the development of a highly skilled workforce, where my research has contributed to public policy and the development of high-skilled workforce, then it means that my research has contributed positively, indirectly to the economic development of my country. So that is the indirect way of measuring your research impact. We are still continuing with the measuring research impact on the economy. We are looking at indicators of economic impact. Indicators of economic impact. Measuring the economic impact of research involves several key indicators that assess both the direct and indirect contributions of research to the economy. We want to look at economic impact, the indicators of economic impact that shows that your research findings is making impact in the economy. What are some of the indicators? One, patents and intellectual property. Patents and intellectual property. The commercialization of research through patents and intellectual property rights can indicate the economic potential of research findings. Researches that leads to innovative products, processes, or technologies that are patented is a clear indicator of economic impact. When your research findings leads to innovations, to innovative products or processes, or it leads to new technologies that are patented, it is a clear indication that your research is making economic impact in your country. Then two, job creation and employment. The creation of new jobs, both in research organizations and the broader economy, is another important indicator. This by saying that when your research is able to come out with findings that leads to job creation and employment, then it means your research is actually contributing positively to the economic development of your country. Research may lead to the establishment of new companies, the expansion of existing industries, or the creation of specialized roles within the labor market. In this way, you are what? Your research work is what? Is making positive impact on your economy. Then three, business development and industry growth. Business development and industry growth is another indicator of economic impact of your research. When research leads to the development of new products, services, or industries, it contributes directly to business growth and the expansion of economic sectors. Collaboration between academia and industry can drive innovation, which enhance the competitive advantage of companies. So you can also measure the development or the impact of your research through business development and industry. Then four is increased productivity. Research that results in improved processes, technologies, or methods can lead to increased productivity across various industries, ultimately boosting economic output. So when your research is increasing, is leading to an increase in productivity of your country, then you can say that your research is positively impacting the development of your country. And therefore, it means you are making an important and effective research in your country. Let's look at, so far, are we together? Are we moving on the same page?
Yes.
Are we together?
Yes, James.
Are there any issues? Are there any questions?
There are not any questions as of now. I think everybody is putting their question for the dedicated question and answer session. Elizabeth has mentioned just now, if you could share the links where research proposals could be submitted. James? Hi, James. I think his internet is... Yes. Hi, James. You are on mute.
I think it's disconnected.
Yes, now you are back and we can see you. So, you see the chat box, Elizabeth has asked, please, James, could you share the links where research proposals could be submitted?
Is there? Hello.
Yes, James.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. Hi everyone. I think James's internet is not working. So he will come back in a while. We are in communication with him. If you have anything that you would like to share or any questions that you have, you can drop it in the chat box. And if you'd like to share anything, you can turn on your mic and share with us.
Hello, Arthur.
Hi, Richard.
Yeah, sorry. I think I had some.
Yeah, I think that's the internet issue. Yes, Richard, you are saying something.
I was saying that Mr. Mine has made a great presentation, though he has been disturbed by the internet. And
All right, so I think we can go ahead.
Yeah, James, Dr. Richard is sharing something. Let's hear
Okay,
them
okay,
out
okay,
and
okay.
yeah.
yeah. So I was saying that it's Mr. James has made a good presentation, though the internet is disturbing him. But he made a great point on conflict of interest. And we have he has said that the conflict of interest can be from funders mainly, but I've seen it in institutions whereby it can be even at a universal level, whereby the supervisor may try to alter the results. So how would you comment on that when it is at institutional level and it's not at the funding level? How would you describe that? Thank you. So the supervisor may attempt to alter the student's results to the satisfaction of the supervisor, and and because the student has to obey, he has to accept. But yeah, I think it's also unethical. I want Mr. James to comment on that. Thank you.
Hi, James. Are you with us? Did you get the question? Oh, Dr. Richard, I think we lost James again. If anyone in the Zoom session would like to answer and share some of their tricks around the questions of Dr. Richard, please go ahead. James is back again.
Maybe when his internet is stable, we shall repeat the question.
Yeah, please do. I think we can also take it at the 8. Yeah.
Very sorry. I think my network interrupted. I think someone was talking.
Yeah, Dr. Richard had a question.
Yeah, Mr. James, I was saying thank you for the good presentation. But I was saying the conflict of interest you have only highlighted that can be at the level of the funders who can try to change the research results in the line of the funders. But I've seen a funny situation or embarrassing situation whereby the supervisors may try to attempt to twist the student to present the results in a way that favors what the supervisor may want. And when it is because it's an academic research, the student has no option or to fail or to pass, or to pass by accepting the twist in the findings or to fail by insisting on the results. So what do you comment on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, that's what I was saying, that we as can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. So what I would say is that is why we as new career researchers, we need to follow the ethics. We must know that there are some ethics as a researcher, you need to follow it. So you should not let the financiers or the funders, those who are funding your research, should have some kind of should be in a way influence your research findings. So we should be strict on ourselves. We should follow the ethics. We should be objective in our findings, and we should not relent on our weaknesses as because we need funding or whatsoever to actually bend down our how our research could impact on society, and rather favoring or doing anything to match with what the funders are actually looking for. No, that should not be it. So we as researchers, we should follow the ethics. We should know the ethics. That is why there's the need to know the ethics. When you know the ethics, then you should be independent. You should not allow self-interest to cross your way in your research work or your research findings, so that it will make your work credible and impactful to society.
Okay, Mr. James, I was and in case the conflict of interest is from the supervisors, part of the team or research team who want to alter the results. So I think he's not hearing.
I can't hear you all.
Okay, I was saying what happens in a situation whereby your supervisor is the one who wants to change you from the course of the ethics of the research, not necessarily the funder. Okay. But it may be for some reason it may not favor your findings, and he or she may try to block you, to twist the results from the real outcome of the results, and it is unethical. But he's your supervisor. You have to obey or to fail the project or to pass. So what do you comment on that? When the conflict of interest is within you, not from so far from to the extent of the funder.
Yeah. So in that case, you should let your supervisor or your professor to know the ethics. So you as the early career researcher or the student, you should rather let him know that these are the ethics. Yes, you should let, because it's because we are lacking the ethics. Because if such a professor or your supervisor should know the ethics, then he wouldn't have compromised that ethics. I don't know why you are getting my point.
Yes.
So yes, so you need to let him know the ethics and know the conflict of interest, the impact of that conflict of interest on the research findings, because it will surely affect the judgment of your research finding. So in that case, you need to explain and be firm. You should be firm and know your ethics, and don't relent, don't compromise. And I think when you let him know that you don't compromise, I think he will follow your steps, and he will surely understand you. Because the moment you compromise, the moment you compromise, the impact of the research will be shifted from the intended purpose.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. James.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. So I think we can continue, right? I hope you can all hear me. We are continuing.
Yes,
all right,
let's continue, and let's take question
at the end, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So assessing societal and policy impacts. We want to assess how your research findings contribute to societal and policy frameworks. So beyond direct economic indicators, Research can have significant impact on public policy, societal welfare, and broader economic development. One is influence on public policy. Research that involves health guidelines, environmental regulations, or economic policies can have long-term economic effects. Let's see, for example, research on climate change may influence government policies that promote sustainable energy, driving economic growth in green technology. So this will actually, when your research is ensuring a change in or an influence on government policies that promote sustainable energy, driving economic growth in green technologies, means your research is making impactful or is making impact on society and then policy framework of what your country. And then 2 is social well-being and quality of life. How will you know your research is making impact? Is by using this indicator, social well-being and quality of life. Research that improves public health, education, social services, or environmental conditions contributes to the overall welfare of society. A healthier, better educated workforce is more productive and can contribute more to the economy. So therefore, if your research findings or your research is bringing out these innovations that helps in improving public health, education, social services, or environmental conditions, then it means that your research is making positive impact in what? In the society and the country at large, and which will help in boosting your economic development of your country. Now we are moving to quantitative metrics for measuring economic impact. Quantitative metrics for measuring economic impact. There are several quantitative metrics used to measure the economic impact of research, which provide tangible data for assessing assessment and decision making. This metrics helps to track the financial contributions of research outcomes over time. One of such metrics is 1, return on investment. Return on investment. Return on investment is a key metric used to assess the financial return from public or private investment in research. It measures the economic benefit derived from research activities relative to the initial investment, helping to demonstrate the value of research funding. So if your research is actually making ensuring private investment returns, you make research into production or industry, and that research that you have made has actually impacted positively, and you are able to get some return on the investment you have made on that research, then it means your research is making impact in society. It is making impact on the development of the country. So return on investment on your research is a metric to measure the economic impact of your research. So you should consider the return on investment on your research to know whether your research is making positive impact or negative impact on society. Then commercialization revenue. Commercialization revenue, you can use that metric to measure economic impact of your research. Commercialization revenue. Income generated from licensing, royalties, and sales of research-derived products or technologies is a direct measure of the economic impact of your research. This can include revenue from patents, trademarks, or collaborations with industry. So you can measure the impact of your research through commercialization revenue. When your research is able to bring out new products or technologies that are being commercialized and drive the people or individuals are able to drive revenue from that new product or technology your research findings have come out with, then it shows that your research is bringing positive impact on the economic development of your country. Then you can also consider a metric like employment impact. Employment impact is also a metric you can use to measure the economic impact of your research. Measuring the number of jobs created or supported by your research activities, including those in research institutions, startups, and the wider economy, helps to assess the contribution of research to employment. So you need to consider that when you conduct your research, you should consider these metrics to know whether your research is making positive or negative impact on your society and economy as well. Then we are looking at qualitative methods for assessing the impact of your research on economic development of your country. While quantitative metrics provide clear data, qualitative methods are also important for capturing the broader impact of research on the economy. especially when research benefits are more indirect or longer term. You can also use qualitative methods to assess the impact of your research. One, case studies and testimonials. Case studies and testimonials. Real-world case studies that illustrate how research has led to economic improvement can provide valuable insights. This might include stories of businesses that were established as a result of your academic research, or industry that transformed due to your new research insights. So when your new research has led to development of businesses, establishment of new businesses through your research findings or your academic research or your research insight, then it means your research is making impact positively to the economic development of your country through case studies and testimonials. Then two, interviews with stakeholders. Engaging with industry leaders, policy makers, and other stakeholders through interviews or surveys can provide qualitative evidence of how your research has influenced economic decisions, product development, and industry strategies. So when you do interviews with stakeholders to know how positively your research has impacted in the development of new innovations, new products in the society, then you'll be able to know how your research has actually been has contributed positively to your economy. Then you can also use focus groups as a means to assess the impact of your research. Focus groups involving members of the research community, industry partners, and the public can provide in-depth perspective on the value of research and its broader societal and economic impact. So you need to consider when you want to measure or assess the impact of your research, you can use the qualitative method for assessing the impact of your research through case studies and testimonials, interviews with stakeholders, and focus groups to know how your research has contributed positively to the economic development of your country. So we are moving to challenges faced by early career researchers. Early career researchers often face a lot of challenges, and we want to look at such challenges and how to mitigate them. One is limited funding opportunities. Limited funding opportunity. It is one of the major challenges early career researchers often face. That is difficulty in securing grants. Difficulty in securing grants. Many funding bodies prioritize applications from researchers with a proven track record, making it harder for early career researchers to compete. This can delay or even prevent the execution of important research projects. Then two, short-term and competitive funding cycles. Early career researchers often rely on short-term postdoctoral positions or fixed-term contracts that offer limited financial support, which may allow them to focus on long-term research. So we are saying that early career researchers, they are facing limited funding opportunities. That is difficulty in securing grants, and also short-term and competitive funding cycles are challenges they mostly face. So what are some of the solutions to mitigate such challenges? One, collaborations and networking. Early career researchers should engage in collaborations with more experienced researchers or institutions that have access to funding. So you should collaborate with institutions that have access to funding and then experienced researchers. In this way, you'll be able to mitigate this limited funding opportunity. You'll be able to mitigate such challenge. Then two, small grants and fellowships. It's also another solution, small grants and fellowships. Early career researchers should actively seek smaller, specialized grants or fellowships that are specifically targeted at earlier or early career researchers. So you should be looking at, if you are an early career researcher, you should be looking at small grants and fellowships that are specifically targeted at your level. In this way, you'll be able to secure funding very quickly and accessible. Then another challenge early career researchers face is lack of mentorship and guidance. Lack of mentorship and guidance. Limited access to senior researchers. Early career researchers often face challenges in finding mentors who have the time or resources to guide them effectively. especially in large research institutions or in highly competitive fields. Then second is lack of career development support. Early career researchers may not receive sufficient career advice, particularly on how to balance research with other professional responsibilities such as publishing, networking, and applying for funding. So we most often lack mentorship and guidance. That is, we have limited access to senior researchers that will guide us effectively with their time and resources. So how do we mitigate this challenge? One is seeking informal mentorship. Seeking informal mentorship. When we seek informal mentorship, we can mitigate this challenge of lacking mentorship. So we can seek for informal mentorship. Early career researchers can seek informal mentorship relationships with other researchers or professionals outside their immediate field. Peer mentoring groups, informal academic communities, or collaborations can provide support and guidance. Then another way to mitigate this challenge is participating in career development programs. Many institutions and professional organizations often offer career development workshops, networking events, and mentorship programs designed specifically for early career researchers. So we can engage ourselves in these career development workshops, networking events, and mentorship programs to actually help to mitigate, to actually secure mentorships and guidance from advanced or experienced researchers to actually guide us in our work as early career researchers. Then another challenge faced by early career researchers is balancing research with other responsibilities. Balancing research with other responsibilities is another challenge we as early career researchers often face. One, heavy teaching loads. Many early career researchers, particularly those in academia, are tasked with teaching undergraduate or graduate students while also trying to conduct their own research. This can detract from their ability to focus on their own work and publication. So most of us often see ourselves teaching at the undergraduate level or graduate level, which is actually distracting us from what? Focusing on our own work and publication. So it is a challenge. That is the heavy teaching load. It's a challenge we mostly encounter. And then two, administrative and service duties. Research institutions often require early career researchers to contribute to departmental activities, attending meetings, or participate in university service roles. These responsibilities can take time away from their core research focus. So administrative and service duties can also take our focus from our research work, which is mostly a heavy duty or a heavy load on early career researchers as a challenge. Then how do we mitigate these challenges? That is the solutions. One, time management and prioritization. Prioritizing research activities and creating clear timeliness can help early career researchers stay focused on their primary research goals. Then two, delegating responsibilities. When possible, early career researchers should delegate non-research related tasks or share responsibilities with other colleagues. So these are some of the ways to actually help mitigate this challenge. Then another challenge early career researchers actually face is navigating the publishing process. Another challenge is how to navigate the publishing process. One, high competition for publications. Early career researchers often face stiff competition when submitting papers to top-tier journals, as these publications tend to favor established researchers with a proven publication history. Then two, time constraints. Writing, revising, revision, and submitting research papers, along with responding to reviewers' comments, can be a time-intensive process. So therefore, early career researchers often have to juggle this with other responsibilities, leading to delays in publication. So these are some of the challenges. Challenge of navigating the publishing process is another way or another challenge that is actually worrying way to mitigate this problem. One, co-authorship and collaboration. Co-authorships and collaborations. Collaborating with senior researchers or joining research networks can help early career researchers secure co-authorship opportunities. These collaborations not only enhance the quality of the research, but also increase the chances of publication. So we can seek for co-authorship and collaborations with senior researchers and our colleague researchers, which will actually help to enhance our research work and the quality of the work we publish. And then 2 is by developing writing skills. Early career researchers can benefit from attending writing workshops or seeking feedback from peers to improve their quality and efficiency of their academic writing. So these are the solutions to mitigate such challenges. Then we are going to the other challenge, that is career uncertainty and job security. Career uncertainty and job security is another challenge faced by early career researchers. 1, short-term contract. Many early career researchers are hired on short-term or fixed-term contract. This often with limited job security or benefit. This uncertainty can make it difficult to plan for the future, both professionally and personally. Then 2, high competitive job market. The academic job market is highly competitive, with many qualified early career researchers vying for a limited number of permanent positions. Therefore, this can lead to stress in the sense of limited opportunity. So this is another challenge we as early career researchers mostly face, that is career uncertainty and job security. So how do we navigate or secure or to prevent this problem? The solution and the way forward. 1 is by diversifying career paths. We as early career researchers can consider careers outside of academia, such as an industry, government, or non-profit sectors, where their research skills are highly valued. Exploring alternative career paths can provide job security and new opportunities. So to ensure job security, we can actually seek jobs or careers outside academia. That is through industry, through government or NGO or non-profit sectors. In this way, we can mitigate the issue of job security. And then 2, professional development and networking. By actively seeking networking opportunities, attending career fairs and participating in professional organizations can help we early career researchers access a wider range of job opportunities and build connections in different sectors. So we can start attending professional development networks, we can start attending career fairs, and we will be able to secure jobs that will help us to actually prevent this career uncertainty challenge that we mostly face. So that is another way to mitigate such a challenge. So my key takeaways for early career researchers. 1 is we should align our research with economic needs, collaborate and build networks, leverage funding opportunities. We should focus on translating research into practical solutions. We should develop effective communication skills. We should ensure research integrity and ethics. We should embrace lifelong learning and adaptability. We should build a strong professional profile. We should contribute to policy and industry innovation and be resilient and persistent. So these are the key takeaways for we early career researchers. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm grateful for having you this morning. So we'll zoom into any further questions and discussions, and then we'll move forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, James, for such an insightful session. I would like to, some scholars are still joining in. So thank you so much for a very insightful and comprehensive session. We learned a lot and a lot of tips very useful and practical tips for the early career researchers. I would like to now um, ask our participants if you have any questions or if there is anything you would like to add to the conversation that we just had. Maybe James, you could stop sharing your screen and we can have some discussions here. Yeah, thanks a lot, James.
Okay. The question is Mr. James going to share the slides? I think they are very informative. I don't know whether you share.
Yeah, I'll share my contact with you. If you need a slide, contact me. I'll share it with you.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Mr. James.
Yes, please.
Thank you for a very insightful presentation. This presentation is very interesting, and I would like to ask you whether you will provide the recordings of this presentation.
Yes, sure. I think, yeah, the recording will be available.
Oh, thanks so much.
So about the recording, it will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. If you have not followed us yet, Rising Scholar is on YouTube. Please find it there. Yes, does anybody has
And the
anything to share?
slides, I think you may also have to upload the slides too.
James has offered to share it with anyone who would
Oh,
contact him.
I'm sending my contact. I'm sending my WhatsApp number so that you can contact me for it.
So while James shared his contact with you, I have also shared some of the links on the chat box. The good thing is we can meet again next Friday because we have another webinar on preprints for showcasing work in progress. Last year we had some sessions on preprints, and a lot of scholars were very surprised at the concept of it, and it was very new yet very useful for a lot of us early career researchers. So if you'd like to know how you can showcase your research before it gets published, like sharing the news with the world, and preprint, the name itself suggests. So please join us on May 2 at the same time that we join today, 10 a.m. GMT. Dr. Sridhar Gautam is from India and is very experienced in terms of preprints and guiding early career researchers. So I have shared the registration link. I look forward to seeing everyone there because this is going to be yet another informative session with our expert. I have also shared some of the other links. We keep on having this kind of discussions and sharing the opportunities and opinions from news from around the world in our discussion group. It is the Google Group forum. The link for the Rising Scholars Google Group is right there. Please join us if you'd like to stay connected with us, and I'm sure you'd like to stay connected with us. The other is so we have a website, risingscholars.net, and I know you are going to enjoy the events link, the opinions, blog posts that keep on coming there. And I'm sure a lot of you will want a platform where you can share your own writings, your blogs, your opinions, your insights from the research that you have conducted. You can go there and see the sample publication, and using the submission guideline, you can also use our Rising Scholars website to showcase your work. We also have Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, where we share our news information and a lot of opportunities like this. Please stay connected there. Yeah, this is all from my end. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. James has also shared his WhatsApp number and his Gmail. You can stay in connection with him and explore the collaboration opportunity. If anyone has any question, please ask, or else we'll take a picture and end the session for today. Okay, so for the picture, I'd like to request everybody to turn on their camera. Yeah. I can see some cameras on already. Yes, GD, do you have any questions?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, apologies. I came in a bit late. I mixed up with the time zone over here. So I just have a quick question, and my question is, like, is there opportunity for collaboration, research collaborations, and I mean, within the team?
Yes. A lot of time
Yes.
our scholars find each other through our discussion forum. So, and in our tea time with author session also, a lot of scholars join in to explore the networking and collaboration opportunity. I'd like to urge all of you to join and also you, CD, to join us. So, in the email, if you could see, I have shared the link to our Google Group forum, our website, a lot of useful resources. Can you see it there?
Yes, I can see your website, so I'm just going through it right now.
Yes, please join us in this platform and you'll find some of the collaboration and research opportunity. The Google Group forum is very heated all the time and a lot of discussions are going on there and I'm sure you'll find something of your use. Anyone has anything else?
Sorry, do you mean to join the Google group or to
Yes,
follow you
please
on the?
join the Google group and you can also sign in on our website
Oh, okay. Thank you.
to be the member. Another thing is we have these opportunities where one of you can host or facilitate the session like James did today. Because it is very important that we learn from each other and we early career researchers from Global South are always supporting each other. Rising Scholar is one such platform. It is a global community of scholars, right? So if you would like to host some sessions, there are opportunities. We call for the expression of interest. So please watch out because we would also love to hear from you and learn from you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes, Peter has asked to join the group. You can just log in. Here is the link. Please use this. I have sent it again. I have found that it is very important, very important to log into the website also because we send a lot of updates there. We're almost 15,000 scholars now. That is a huge community of people with like-minded interests, so we can find each other there. And once again, I'd like to request everybody to turn on your camera so that I can take a very beautiful picture to end this week with. If you are comfortable, please turn on your camera. And please join us next week. I'd like to request you to learn about preprints because last time when I learned about it, it was like eye-opening for me. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy it.
Thank you.
Okay,
Right.
so let me take a picture. Okay, so I've taken a picture has been taken. So for the next, can you do something fun like, yes, we have learned so much this Friday, or thank God it's Friday, Saturday is coming, weekend is there.
It's always on.
Yes, something fun. Oh my God, that's not fun. Please do something. Yes, I can see some thanks.
Yeah, okay. It's always on.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. It is very lovely to have you all here. Stay in touch. Thank you so much, James, for hosting very wonderful 2 webinars with us. We are so glad to have you on board with us, and we look forward to learning from you even more. I'm sure all of us
Okay.
enjoyed it. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in, and we'll see you next Friday. It's like I'm
All right.
pushing you to come, but please join us.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you
Stay
too
in
so
touch.
much.
Thank you
Bye.
very much.
Have a great weekend.
All right.
Bye bye. Like.